Yeah, that seems to be a trend because they make a noise, but no action. I mean, when our current president came into power, one of the things that was on the lips and minds of everyone was the fact that when he gets in, this issue of remuneration will be addressed, and somehow it hasn't been. And I mean, if I'm getting 13.5 million naira a month, would I really want to make
exactly? And one more point I want to raise is that when I read the issue of the minister collecting extra code, I think that issue also has to be addressed. Because if you start from the top, if someone like the president tells us that, I think the president said he's not going to be collecting half of the salary or something of that sort, you know, if he says that, okay, whenever I travel abroad too, I want to forgo my extra code, I want to forgo my allowance, then everybody will have to follow suit. Special advisors, ministers, then. But you can't tell the senator to reduce what is collecting per month as running cost when he knows.
Are you saying that for this to be effective, it has to come from the top?
Yes, exactly.
Some are saying that also it's a legal binder in terms of it's a law, so it has to be changed from the same people
laws, of course.
The same people who benefit from it.
Yes, laws can be changed because all those extra codes, they are all statutory. It's not based on the whims and caprices of anybody in office. So, but if you are saying you want to reduce what we spend on our public office holders, which is what we have been clamoring for over the past couple of decades, it has to be across board. The moment you beam your torchlight on the legislator, it's not going to work. You can't have all those kind of minor change that you're trying to carry out. It has to be across board. So you can't just focus, because I have friends who work as legislative assistants to senators. I've worked as a assistant to a parliamentarian during my youth service here for a couple of months. So I know that you actually need running costs for that office.
Well, I think the issue is not that we're disputing that they are running costs, but there's some excesses in terms of, for example, even in the police sector, we have the IG who has recalled the police officers who have been assigned to them. Some are of the opinion there's a hidden agenda, but there's a move. With respect to the Senate and the money, it is still astronomical.
Definitely, no doubt about that.
So if that is a fact, the question now is, why don't we just do something? As a people, as a nation, why can't we do something? Because the powers that be are not really doing much, whether from the top or from the Senate, the legislators. Nobody is actually making a move to change that, and the change has to come from within.
As a people, what we can do now, 2019 is coming. A lot of people can run for Senate. And when we have people of like minds in the Senate, we can change the laws. As it is now, any changes you want to make has to be done by those in the parliament.
So it's business as usual.
Exactly. So they will not support that kind of change.
Wishful thinking.
So we need to dilute the membership of the Senate and the National Assembly. So if you do that, then definitely, because I, for one, I mean, 35.5 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So if we have like minds, we can say, okay, you know what, this money, let's reduce it by half and all of that. You know.
I mean, I've read of stories of other African nations and some other nations where the leadership has basically swung into action from the onset. Just to buttress what you said, and when we take a step back, we look at the fact that it actually has a lot to do with leadership. Even someone as noble as George Weah, who's recently just resumed, a number of actions he took were like literally not paying lip service to what he promised to do. It brings to question the fact that is the government being selective about what they choose to attend to and what they decide to just look the other way about?
I believe so, because as far as I'm not impressed by what this government has done so far. I think they play lip service to a lot of issues, and I think they're also selective in what they choose to address. So I'm not really impressed, and I think we can do better as a nation. We can have better leadership as a nation.
You I mean, as a citizen, what would be your scorecard for this government so far?
I'll give them 28%. 28%.
Why is that?
Because in all sectors, they failed as far as I'm concerned. Only in the issue of security that I believe they've performed, and the security in the Northeast. And even that is being called to question by recent developments that we have. You heard what a statesman said yesterday. T.Y. Danjuma, you heard what he said yesterday, you know. So I don't, in terms of economy, the economy is practically in shambles.
Well,
Education, health, what else do you want to say?
What about the Senate in terms of passing laws? Some say when it's laws that concern their own personal benefits, it's fast-tracked.
I'll give the Senate maybe 45%. I'll give the Senate 45% because they've been trying to communicate with Nigerians. I mean, I'm aware that the Senate is trying to amend a lot of legislations that would allow business to go on very well. Although they are a little bit slow, but you can see that zeal. So I believe that they're trying to work on it. And like you rightly said, the Electoral Act, the pace at which they amended the Electoral Act, I would have wished that same pace is applied to the Company and Other Matters Act, the amendment of the Arbitration Act. Our Trademarks Act has not been amended for donkey years. Our Patent Act, we have so many laws. We don't even have a law governing the transport sector in terms of e-hailing that we have. E-hailing is something that is a new trend in worldwide. If you have a proactive legislature, you will have amended your laws to cater for that. Look at the land use charge law in Lagos State. Within a couple of weeks, they had amended it as brought into law. If they could have brought good laws that will affect the lives of the citizens, that would have been good. But they seem to always be skewing to what will benefit the executive or what will benefit themselves. So what we're asking from them is the energy and the zeal they put into laws that will benefit their own interest and raise more revenue for the state. They should also put that same zeal in laws that will affect the common man on the street and that will affect business. We don't need money from government. We just want the economy to be good so that we can thrive and we can all make money.
Back to the issue of the governors very quickly. Final word, would you say that going to the Senate is basically more of a cash cow for these ex-governors?
Well, I don't see it as being a cash cow. I mean, in this country, we've seen a former senator saying he wants to be a commissioner. A time will come where a former commissioner will say he wants to go for councillorship. I think it's all about relevance. Nigeria is the kind of country where when you're no longer holding office, people will not even greet you anymore. The security man will not even recognize you anymore. So as a former governor, you need to hold on to something, even if it's just chairman of a nebulous committee or a member of one committee in the National Assembly or something. You just have to be relevant. So I don't see it as money-making venture for them. A lot of them don't need the money. They just want the relevance. Like they can go to national Aso Rock for a meeting. They can meet with this person. They can rein in their governors. They can still be relevant. If you look at most governors in their state, people giving them problem are senators. If someone is fighting the governor, look at Kogi State. All states is only a senator that can say, okay, I want to face you. So it's just for them to remain relevant. The moment they are no longer in any office, the governor will not recognize and respect them anymore. So I think it's just a straw they are holding on to.
Anybody running for Senate, what would be your advice to them now?
My advice to anybody running for Senate now is have an agenda before you go to the Senate. Your agenda will be based on the kind of person you are. If you are an entertainer, your agenda will be different from if you're a lawyer. If you are a doctor, your agenda will be different. So have an agenda and make sure your agenda is not tailored towards your constituency alone. In Nigeria, we make that mistake that once you're a senator, you're just there for your representative. No, it's not like that. You should be nationalistic in your agenda. So have an agenda. This is the sector I want to tackle. And for the next 4 years, any contribution you are making, make sure that whatever you say at the Senate is in line with your agenda. But what we have is that most of these guys don't have any agenda. They just go there and they're very clueless about what they want to do. So have your agenda. If you want to focus on a particular sector, let us know the kind of laws you want to bring in. Let us know the kind of agencies you want to tackle for your oversight functions. Not that you're just inviting different banks, different organizations for oversight functions every day. Have your agenda and focus on your agenda.
Always a pleasure talking to you, Abbas. Thank you very much.
Nice having you. Yeah.
Still rubbing minds. We'll be back after the break and taking a look at the story of this remarkable young girl who has taken a stand. Some say she exhibits the courage that is lacking in many of our leaders today. We'll talk about the Dapchi girls after this. Stick around.